There have been multiple aftershocks in Puerto Rico this morning as millions there wait to see if President Trump will sign a major disaster declaration to authorize much-needed aid. 4,000 people are still in shelters and many others are sleeping outside after yet another powerful earthquake Saturday. This video shows the mayor of hard-hit Guanica running away mid-interview as powerful tremors shook the region just a day before. Our lead national correspondent, David Begnaud, is there now at the top of a mountain where people are seeking refuge. David, who have you met up there?
And Anthony, we've met nearly 100 people, most of whom don't even know each other, who came here about a week ago and set up camp. There are camps around this entire property, which, by the way, is owned by the government. The gate was opened and people were allowed to set up here. They've set up makeshift kitchens and they're not moving. They're not going anywhere. They left their home at the bottom of the mountain and came to the highest point they could find. For most of them, it's not because their homes were damaged or destroyed. It's because they simply don't feel safe there. The aftershocks continue daily. There are multiple aftershocks that you usually feel, and that's why people say they feel safer right here. Here's what happened over the last 48 hours.
It happened Saturday morning, just before 9 a.m. A 5.9 magnitude earthquake centered off the southwestern coast rocked the entire island of Puerto Rico. It was the strongest quake since last week's devastating 6.4, which killed one person and damaged hundreds of buildings. Saturday's earthquake did not injure or kill anyone, but there were landslides and new damage to homes and businesses.
You never know what can happen. Anything can just go just like this. Love your family, appreciate them, just thank God every day for what you have.
We met Praxedis Rodriguez and her husband at the top of that mountain in Guanica. They've been living in this tent for most of the last week. They're okay, but she hopes more help is coming for those less able to care for themselves.
We don't know how much longer we're going to be here. We have a lot of elderly that are really in bed, that can't even move out of bed.
Yes, they can continue to feel some aftershocks, and they should be expecting this.
Elizabeth Vanacore is a seismologist with the Puerto Rico Seismic Network. They have more than 20 sensors installed around the island to detect earthquake magnitude.
So I'll bring up the real-time monitor.
As Puerto Ricans wait to see if President Trump will sign that major disaster declaration, FEMA's top official in Puerto Rico told us this.
Update. We're not waiting. We've got our teams out in the field. The tremendous amount of mutual aid that's happening from the island. I'm sure you saw on your way here the caravan.
We did. Traffic was backed up in the mountains of the hardest-hit regions on Sunday as Puerto Ricans came from near and far to bring supplies to their neighbors.
In fact, we stopped by this home and we noticed this family of 11. They have no power, they have no water, and they've been sleeping out in the yard since Tuesday. Sleeping with them is their 71-year-old grandmother, Rosa. She has end-stage Alzheimer's. She is sunburned, she is sweating, and she looks miserable. And they are desperate to find an ambulance that will evacuate her from here.
We were there when an ambulance finally arrived to take Rosa more than 2 hours away to a relative's home in Bayamón. The family sent us this photo saying Rosa is now resting comfortably.
Full disclosure, it was a member of our team who lives here in Puerto Rico and is Puerto Rican who paid for that ambulance, not because he was asked, but because he was there at the scene and wanted to help. So he made a phone call, and that's how the family got the ambulance. And that is another example of how Puerto Ricans have been some of the first and the fastest to get to their neighbors who are in need.
Yeah, David, when I heard about it over the weekend, I was really glad you were there to bring us stories exactly like this to keep us all in the loop. I'm curious, though, how local officials are now responding to yet another new crisis for them.
Well, look, Gail, they say they're doing the best they can, but because so many people are heading to the areas and clogging up the roads, the governor yesterday said, you guys need to send your donations through the government, and that, people went wild when they heard that, quite honestly. People here, Gail, have a deep distrust of the government following what happened 2 years ago after the hurricane, and quite frankly, a lot of them say, I'm not leaving this up to you, I'm going there and doing it myself.
And you see them doing that. So much work to be done. Thank you very much, David Begnaud, reporting from Puerto Rico once again.
Yeah, thank you, David.